Why is everybody fasting now? How do you fast? Is it even fasting? What is fasting? These questions and more will be answered in this video. There's a bonus tip at the end. So what even is intermittent fasting? Simply said, it is a period of time where you don't eat anything. Most people have this period of 8 to 10 hours because that's when they sleep, and then they have a 14 to 16 window of eating. Fasting, however, uses a much smaller window for eating. I already hear all your questions. How is this healthy? Can you at least drink? Won't you get hungry? How will I get my energy? Do not worry. We explain each and every question thoroughly throughout this video. So let's dive a little deeper into what fasting is and what it does to your body. As said previously, it is a deliberate time of not eating, very simply defined. But how, and more importantly, why does it work? Let's get the how out of the way. As we all know, your body stores excess energy in fat tissue. You get this excess energy by a surplus of calories in a big enough period of time. Basically, you eat more than you burn. Now we get to our first misconception. So do I have to run 8 miles to burn this cheeseburger now? No, that is, fortunately, not how our body works. If we look at our daily intake, it consists of your basal calories, the amount you need for your organs to function properly, and excess calories, the amount you need to move your body. The basal calories take almost 70% of your required daily caloric intake. You may have already guessed this, but from the fact that when 70% of our intake is just for our metabolism to work, it leaves only 30% for us to worry about, and another 10% of the remaining 30 is burned off simply by widgeting, thinking, and all sorts of involuntary movements. That means that while yes, you can burn off the cheeseburger by running half a marathon, 80% of this burning is done just by existing. Great. So excess calories that could be stored in fat tissue come from only 20% of our daily intake. This storage happens when the energy you could spend isn't spent. Nowadays, it is more than common that we eat more than we can move. Your main energy source comes from the food you eat, firstly in the form of glycogen, an immediate energy source, and then it is slowly stored in your fat tissue. Now we are starting to chip away at our why, because you add glycogen faster than it is being spent. It is stored in the form of fat. This is when fasting comes in. Not eating for extended periods of time allows us to spend all of our available glycogen without adding to it. When all of your glycogen runs out, what do you start using as energy? Fat. This is a very simple explanation of how fasting can help you in weight loss. But it doesn't do just that. There are way more benefits than just cutting weight. Let's go step by step. Now that you allow your body to spend the energy rather than store it, you burn off fat. With this fat comes also the fat in your arteries. So inadvertently, you also improve your heart functioning and health and lessen your chances of preventable heart disease. That's great, right? Now, because you shorten your time of eating, you also shorten your digestion period. Why is this beneficial? Because for your stomach to produce acids and feed its microbiome, it saps energy from your whole body, making it slower. It also creates less net time spent in insulin spikes because your body needs insulin to let glucose into cells. This can cause insulin immunity, making it less effective, leading to diabetes type 2. So by shortening the time spent eating and digesting, you actually unlock more of your usable energy reserves for free. Now that you have all this energy available, your brain starts to actually focus more and your thoughts become clearer, sharper, and more insightful. There is also a hidden benefit most people don't know about. Imagine that your body is a kitchen. If you are always cooking and don't have enough time to clean before making the next meal, it's going to be a mess in there. Where are we going with this? The same works for your digestive tract. Your body now has way more time to focus on cleaning rather than cooking. It clears out cholesterol and fat in your veins, produces more antioxidants, and most importantly, clears out heavy metals commonly found in bigger fish. Not only does your body now have the time to clean, but also to produce important hormones and chemicals such as testosterone, estradiol, dopamine, and much more. All of these benefits are achieved simply by eating for a shorter period of time in a given period. Notice the words, eating shorter, not less. We actually advise that you do eat the same amount, of course, as healthy as you can to maintain your functioning. Now let's get to how to actually do the fasting. Let's lay out some ground rules that apply to every schedule of fasting. No eating. Yes, that is quite obvious, but it can also lead to some questions. Can I drink during this period? If yes, what can I drink? Are there some foods that I can eat during the fast? Let's go one by one. Yes, you can drink anything, as long as it is below 5 calories. This includes water, coffee, salt, tea, and unsweetened syrups. We are aiming for little to no calories in this period because we want our digestive tract to stay inhibited. As soon as you add anything worth digesting, it kicks right up and can cause the benefits of fasting to lessen. As for chewing gum, it is perfectly fine. It actually stimulates your digestive tract, readying it for food. So it can be helpful to pop a chewing gum an hour or so before breaking your fast. Now that we mention it, how do you break your fast? It is recommended to eat softer foods that require less digestion. Steamed or cooked vegetables, white meat, rice or pasta are great ways to break your fast. Having a sugary drink as well can help you kickstart your metabolism faster. Now that we have laid out some basic rules, let's look at the specific schedules. There exist many fasting schedules, all having their own pros and cons. Today, we will be focusing on the most popular ones. First, we have the most common fasting schedule, the 16 to 8. Normally, you would eat breakfast in the morning, lunch at noon, and dinner in the evening. This sets an eating window of 14 to 16 hours, with 8 to 10 hours of not eating. In other words, sleep. The 16 to 8 schedule essentially switches these times. 8-hour window of eating, 16 of fasting. The time you start your window solely depends on your time availability. If you have work in the morning, start eating at noon, vice versa. If you choose to break your fast at noon, you should have your second meal 1 to 2 hours after your first meal. Now you can afford to eat something a little heavier, for example, red meat, grains, and raw vegetables. You should aim to get most of your nutrition in the second meal. The last meal should be no less than 2 hours before bedtime, so your body can properly digest it. Here, we again aim for easier digestible foods. Second type is 1 meal per day. Not only is it better time-wise, it is also great money-wise for some people. If done right, it is one of the best ways to quickly and safely low sweet, while keeping your health and metabolism intact. There isn't much space for unhealthy food because you need to get the most bang for your buck. Eating as much nutrients in as little food is the key to this diet. It is recommended that most of this meal is quality red meat and/or small fish with little sides, such as rice and pasta. It is best to avoid pastries at all because the gluten inflates in your stomach, filling up space unnecessarily. Third is 5 to 2. Instead of fasting every day, this diet is based on a weekly timeline. You eat 5 days normally as you would, and 2 days usually every second, and then third day you eat below 500 calories. While this is considered fasting, it is only a light version because you are still eating normally the majority of the time. It can, however, help you with your appetite, metabolism, and insulin levels. Lastly, we have the alternate. Judging by the name, you could already guess that it is eating normally for a day and eating below 500 calories for the other. If you are still watching, you earned yourself the bonus tip we mentioned at the beginning. You might have already heard something about the carnivore diet, basically only eating parts of animals. It is proven that when you eliminate gluten, excess sugar, and fiber from your diet, you can get surprising results. Without the need to process what your body essentially doesn't need, you unlock crazy amounts of energy and clear thinking. So if you have the discipline, the resources, and proper medical consultation, you can try to combine fasting with a carnivore diet to get the best of both worlds. We thank you again, dear seeker, for yet again opening your mind and expanding your horizons to the health of your body.